Okay, so with this problem, it says if pH is 3.56, what is the H plus? First thing we have to do is we identify what equation we're going to use. And for this whole chapter, it's a good idea to think, okay, is there an equation with both pH and H plus? And then you're like, oh yeah, there is, right? There's the pH equation, the one we just used. So we can use that one. So it's pH equals negative log of H plus. Next thing we do is we plug in what we have. So pH is 3.56 equals negative log H plus. Okay, what's the next thing that we can do to solve this problem? Because what do we want to get by itself, first of all? We want to get the H plus by itself, right? So how do we get the H plus by itself? And think about what we can do mathematically. What's something we could do? Abir? What? Okay. All right, so that's where this becomes an issue, because log is not just a multiplication or division kind of problem. Log is a function. So it's doing something specific to this H plus. And this is where the math gets a little bit weird. But basically what you need to do is you need to undo log, all right? So you need to do the opposite of log, which is not division, and like you think with multiplication and division. Unfortunately, we need to do the opposite of it. So we need to find the anti-log button on our calculator. And that's actually what we're going to use. We're going to use this anti-log button. Before we do that, though, there's one thing that you can do algebraically in this problem to get more stuff on the left. This negative here, we can get that to the other side by doing what? Okay, yeah, exactly. Dividing by -1, multiplying by, getting the negative on the other side. We can flip the signs, right? Everybody's cool with that? All right. Now all we have on the right is log of H plus. So we need to find that anti-log button. And usually it is the second function of log. So what you would do is look for your log button and then do second in that log. And it usually will look something like a 10 with a little caret, or like a 10 with a little X. Some calculators, when you write the number after that, it'll just have like a parentheses, and you would actually type in the negative 3.56. Some calculators, it makes the negative 3.56 very tiny up at the top because it's doing like this anti-log thing. Either way, that's cool. So plug that in and let's see what we get. So we do anti-log negative 3.56. And then remember, for this whole chapter, we love using scientific notation, right? Especially for H plus. So once you have that, put it into scientific notation if your calculator is not in scientific notation mode, and then get your answer. 2.754 times 10 to the negative 4. And it's going to be molar because we're doing H plus here. And we're going to talk about sig figs in a minute. I want to make sure that we get the math figured out first. Does anybody have any questions with how I got that number? Or where the button is on your calculator? Because the TI-34 multi-view is a little different. Everybody's okay with that? You guys got it? Okay, you just hit the log button to go down, right? Very cool. Okay. Virtual folks, you guys good? Right, awesome. Okay, so now we need to do sig figs. So how many sig figs does this number up here have? It only has 2, right? Because this is pH. This number doesn't count, so we have 1 and then 2. So we need to round this to what? You can shout it out. Good, yeah, 2.8 times 10 to the negative 4. All right, any questions with that one?